위초고 3국 대결.
장비! 나이스!
나 심쿵했어.
17,800원. 군주는 무릎을 꿇을 수 있어요.
아 뭐야 이거 어떻게 먹은 건데?
저에게는 간호 장비 같은 존재입니다.
진짜 유익한 게임이니까 여러분들 진짜로 많이 해보셨으면 좋겠습니다.
기가 IoT 헬스 올레 TV 켜고 퍼팅하고 바이크 타고 체지방 체크까지 실감나게 재밌다. 기가 IoT 헬스 김지원의 KT.
오호, 물로 지금 거의 뭐 수분을 그냥 갖다 들이붓는 것 같아요. 자, 바른 쪽과 안 바른 쪽입니다. 차이 보여드릴게요. 내가 발라봤는데 개편해. 앞으로 그냥 나도 찍어 발라야 될 것 같아요. 잘 봐요. 자, 이렇게 깔끔하게 아래쪽만 다듬어도 선이 딱 살아있잖아요. 선 라인 자체가. 잠깐만. 이런 느낌이구나. 허허. 오늘 여러 가지 제품들 올리브영에서 제가 지금 제품을 받아서 사용을 해봤는데 굉장히 좋은 것 같아요. 올리브영 제품이 짱인 것 같습니다.
올리브영 플러스 유소나 예뻐져라 뷰티 방송. 홈쇼핑 아닙니다. 첫 뷰티 방송 시작하겠습니다. 달콤한 꽃에 겹겹이 둘러싸인 듯. 여러분, 이 모든 제품들은 올리브영에서 살 수 있습니다. 새로운 네일 아트로 사랑을 표현할게요. 감사합니다. 고맙습니다. 세상에.
KT와 아프리카TV가 함께하는 기가 콜라보 페스티벌. 강렬한 태양 아래 해운대 백사장에서 펼쳐지는 국내 최대 기가급 페스티벌. 기가 인터넷의 속도로 즐기는 e스포츠의 축제. 아프리카TV 인기 BJ가 총출동하는 KT 기가 레전드 매치, 오버워치 BJ 리그 올스타 매치. e스포츠의 성지 부산에서 펼쳐지는 KT 기가 레전드 매치. 폭풍저그 홍진호, 최종 경기 테란 이영호, 몽상과 프로토스 강민, 혁명과 프로토스 김태경. 다시 만나는 전술 속의 스타크래프트 영웅들. KT 기가 레전드 매치. 아프리카TV 인기 DJ들의 축하 공연까지 즐길 수 있는 올여름 최고의 기가급 페스티벌. KT와 아프리카TV가 함께하는 기가 콜라보 페스티벌에 여러분을 초대합니다.
미소가 생기다. 화사함이 생기다. 건강한 하루가 생기다. pH 8.0과 풍부한 미네랄로 핑크빛 생기가 생기다. 아이시스 8.0. 이제 모두 핑크하세요.
Hot 6 GSL Season 2.
Welcome to Awesome Games Done Quick, the GSL version. This is a speed run of the GSL. We are tearing through these best of threes.
We did screw up the glitch where you bypass the immortal dance, though. You're supposed to glitch that out in the game.
That's part of the speed run. He damages that to save frames to glitch through a wall.
Yeah, but
and
we messed
avoid
it up.
game 3. So we're gonna go to another ZVP here. Now, Hurricane is not playing that well, but you know, there's still a chance for him to redeem himself. Oh, by the way, wait, I gotta look up the word again on my phone. Okay, wait, I got like 1,000 tweets.
Aristeas, I think.
Aristeas? Someone tell me if I'm saying this right. We don't have that much break time. I was trying to find. Aristeas, the Greek god of cheese, a minor god, son of, wait for it, Apollo. I should have known. I should have known Apollo. So, Aristeas, man. Well, we can start using memes for that.
Let's make that.
Because frankly,
let's
the
make that a
StarCraft
thing.
scene doesn't have enough good original memes. Artosis Pylon is too old, guys. It's really not actually that funny.
It's not that funny
It's
anymore.
actually, it like, wasn't that funny to begin with, and I'm somebody who likes funny things. But we got to get some more good memes here, some more good memery. Anyways, guys, this is the losers match.
Yep, we didn't have an overlay for that, but let's jump into it.
Yeah, we just went right into it. Down here in the blue,
MVP Chicken Maru, departure.
Just like we skipped it entirely, just went to the old school GSL intros.
It's part of the speed run.
That's right.
Saves you 3 seconds doing that. Someone get Cosmo in here. He glitches me through the commercials.
His opponent down the bottom right.
Samsung Galaxy, Hurricane.
He tried to skip the intro, but that doesn't save time, actually.
Try to skip the intro here. If I take damage on this wall, I can avoid 3 lines of conversation from the owl in Legend of Zelda. We love you. Thank you guys so much for coming down here. Sorry, Artosis is, he's actually with his family. Loser.
Right.
Loser. No, he's got
his priorities wrong, Tasteless.
He's got his priorities wrong. He's on a trip with his wife and their baby. But I'm happy to be down here. Thank you guys for coming down to the studio.
Well, this probe is delivering cake to the wrong birthday party. And we are going to spawn at horizontal spawns here. I personally really favor Departure going this best of 3. I know that's going to surprise a lot of people, but like it shouldn't really. Hurricane has had pretty pitiful results for years now. Like I said, him getting through that the wild card match is possibly the best thing he's done since Wings of Liberty. The hardest thing he's done. I don't mean to be super critical, but he did not come prepared to his PvP very well. And Departure, even though he lost 0-2, he had solid builds versus Dark. Like he had a plan.
Yeah.
And I feel like Hurricane in game 1 versus 0, he had a plan, but it was poorly executed. Game 2, he had no idea what was going on. I think that like unless he really steps it up here, I think Departure should be able to take this series. That's my personal thoughts on the best of 3 here. Or one of these 2 players will be eliminated. For both of them, this is it for the rest of the year in official StarCraft announced tournaments. Like both Star Leagues, they're out. Whoever loses this, Pro League is over for both teams. And that's like, okay, I'll see you in 2017. Good luck. You're not going to BlizzCon. If you lose here, it's over. So, I mean, this is it for both of these 2 players. And I like to emphasize that because this is so important.
No, I think that's really important, Wolf. I mean, you really do need to draw in the gravity of how significant this match really is. I mean, these guys live, eat, and breathe StarCraft, man.
This is their jobs, their livelihoods.
Their passions.
Their passions, man. But it's all on the line here. That's what makes this an incredible 1v1 game, because sometimes you get to that loser's match and you're like, it's that moment you kind of have to accept as a commentator, also a spectator, a fan watching. You might even be the biggest fan of either of these players, but you're like, wow, one of these guys who's been playing this game for years, and it's all he does all day, every day, and this is his job. Is just going to be done for the year here in July because he lost this best of 3 in this tough group that they were just randomly seeded into here. It's just like how brutal of a game and tournament this really is.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. This is kind of what makes this competition a beautiful thing.
That's why everybody loves it. It's so hardcore. That's where
right.
we're at.
By the way, guys, we have a lot of viewers, I believe, for the games here today. Look, guys, I need to talk to each and every one of you guys for a second. Those of you guys that are watching this, you should also be watching the ASL.
Yeah, it's a great tournament.
Okay, it's every Sunday and every Tuesday, and that's the sister tournament, our brand new tournament, sister tournament to this one, where we do StarCraft Brood War. Okay? And I know that, no doubt, with the pathology of gaming forums in this day and age, all people want to do is talk about which StarCraft is better. They're both amazing games. You should love them both.
But Taste of StarCraft 2 is better.
All right, Wolfie. Wolfie, you kill me.
Look at this, actually. I mean,
good harass
Brood War tournament is amazing, but this drone harass is pretty surprising. Like, it's actually quite much. He's done a lot of damage with this. And he's not going to take it to 30s. But anyways, you can go back to your point. Just wanted to point that.
No. Right when I was saying it, I was watching the Oracle's kill stuff. I'm like, oh, well, I got to finish this idea at least. But no, please do check out the ASL, guys. Spread the word. It's really great. We got great players like Flash, the greatest Brood War player of all time in it. So definitely check that out. Nice harass here with these Lings.
Yeah, he's actually going to be able to stop this Nexus from going up. It looks like there's nothing nearby. The Oracles, if they were home, part of the reason why Oracles are good for this matchup is to defend this base. So they do come home now, but that's like half of why they're made, and they do come back. It's like a scary moment here, but the pylon bought just enough time. Like if this was Heart of the Swarm in that situation, the pylon wouldn't have been there. That would not have happened like that. We just see that Departure is going for the Baneling style here. Baneling Nest is finishing up. He may have gotten an Evolution Chamber. I don't think so, though. We just may have missed it. But we'll see what he wants to do. Obviously, this is a good map for drops, and that Baneling Hydra style is going to pair well on this map at these positions as well. Big tag here. There's the Evo Chamber. a little bit later than some other players might have it. And we went all gases. Like, he's adding every single gas here. Going to build that gas count pretty quickly. The Oracle's struggling to find damage because there's Queens. There are Spores. And Hurricane's going to try to find angle here. That's why these Zerglings are here. So smart. They can also check to see if Hurricane's doing something crazy and get like a really fast fourth base. But Hydra Den's on the way, and it is going to be that Bane Hydra style that we saw popularized again by Dark and Rogue in this matchup.
Yeah, this kind of like battle Zerg style coming in here. Now he's going to go for this. He might. Oh, I thought he might try to target down some of those Banes. I think he had enough time to maybe do that.
He's going to shade in here. I don't know about this. He's going to get a good angle. The
no, this
Oracles
is great.
come in.
Yeah, with the Oracles, this is awesome. In fact, he can even try to gun down the Banelings.
The Banelings need to go for the Adepts right away. In fact, hiding in the mineral line isn't going to do anything for him. Trying to get the surround here.
Oh.
The shade is not ready yet.
Yeah, well, that's why the Lings are actually pretty handy in moments like this. So the Adepts end up going up here to the top. And, yeah, I mean, I guess he's not going to do as much damage as he would have ideally wanted to. Again, Hurricane, if you guys are just now joining us, Hurricane had a pretty rough game in the first series. Like,
yeah, it's rough 2 games,
he was like,
realistically.
he was like making a lot of mistakes. Like, it was pretty kind of depressing to watch. So we're hoping he can get a better showing here. But, yeah, so far he definitely didn't kill enough workers for that to be like you know, an inherently valuable move.
No, definitely not. And the scary thing too is that the follow-up is like it's very terrifying to deal with if you're not 100% prepared, and he needs to get ready. If he takes a fourth base here, he's way too optimistic. He's adding Photon Can, so I think he starts to understand the gravity of this situation. Blink +1, both of those are going to be pretty useful at defending this. This is actually kind of a funny thing. We talked about this yesterday at the ASL, and I want to keep referencing this tournament because, as you said, it's like the sister tournament, and it's from StarCraft 1. But we have meta shifts sometimes late in a game's lifetime, and to see Baneling's speed utilized in this matchup now is something that's only happened within the past few months. Like, Banelings were not even really used in ZVP.
This is what's kind of I mean, I think a lot of people will disagree with me on this, but I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I'm actually against patching things too quickly.
I 100% agree with you.
Really, I mean, this is like I was saying, the pathology of gaming forums is immediately to be like, I can't win with this, and that means it's not good enough. I'm a guy that posts on the forums. But, like, really, a lot of times you'll see people completely reinvent the game if you just give them enough time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying you shouldn't patch anything, by the way, but a lot of times you really should just like give it some time because there's a lot of smart people playing the game.
Force fields here are going to stop this from happening, but he has Hydras, and this is actually such a difficult position for Hurricane to attack into. He was very clueless to how much pressure was coming his way until just when it hit him. Now, he eliminated a lot of the Banelings, but not all of them. He needs another set of force fields. The Hydras are already too far forward.
I don't think he has enough force fields, actually. I think the berth here is too big.
Okay, that was a great force field there. Okay, these are some decent force fields.
Actually,
but, like, there's just too much DPS behind the force fields. That's why this build is so strong.
God.
You block the Banes, but Hydras shoot over force fields. They're one of the strongest ranged DPS units in the game. This is going to be GG here.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing he can do. He's got a few more Stalkers. Now, the Hydras aren't getting premium
but his
surface area here, but it doesn't really matter.
He could just kill this Nexus. He doesn't have to chase the Stalkers. Stalkers will run away forever.
Hurricane is having a bad day here, man. You can blink as much as you want, but I think, you know, Zerg right now is just leaning on the production keys on his keyboard. War Prism.
What's he going to make Zealots here? I don't think so. Well, this game is as good as over.
If he even makes anything out there, he's going to get run over even faster in the front because there's not enough to juggle back at home.
Yep, this just feels like a lack of, to be totally real and not even PC, it feels like a lack of understanding of this style, which is so common right now.
Well, you know, it's kind of unfortunate, but like Hurricane is just like not in the same league as the people he's playing against. Yeah. But he's not out yet. He's not out yet.
And that was like his best game of the 3 he's played. He was putting on some pressure that made sense. He did some strange things, like he committed up the ramp versus the Baneling. Then he also had like a Void Ray. I'm not really sure what that was about. I think he was expecting Baneling drops to come faster. But it was like, that's not Departure's plan here. His plan is actually to do a big timing attack with Bane Hydra. And when you're throwing Adepts away, harassing, that attack gets stronger. The rush distance between these bases is short. You know, these positions, it's not cross spawns. And force fields can stop Banelings, but they can't stop the Hydras. That's why this build is so strong, because you're like, okay, I trap the Banes out. Okay, well, Hydras shoot over that versus your Stalkers and start hitting your Nexus at that angle. It's tough. It's tough to play against Rogue, and Dark figured it out a long time ago. But it looks like Hurricane's still struggling. King Sage on the station on the second map. Hurricane He is, like, this could be the last game he plays in 2016 on televised matches that you guys watch on Twitch at home. This could be the last time.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure here. Departure is just one game away, possibly from punting Hurricane out of the GSL Codes. I thought Hurricane had a decent shot today. I really did. But the games are proving otherwise. Let's see if he can't pull it back together. Down here in the blue, in the bottom right.
MVP Chicken Maru, Departure.
In the upper left, in the red.
Samsung Galaxy, Hurricane.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you something really weird here because I'm probably going to be looking very strange. My hand has just gone numb. I've been having these wrist problems. My hand's like, my whole right hand is like completely numb. Well, it's like pinky mostly, but
you try shaking a little bit, or is it too painful?
It's not painful, but I think I might have to go to the doctor tomorrow. I've been having some problems playing too much games. Hurt my wrist. Thanks for coming down, guys. We love you.
I've actually had this a few times when I'm casting with hand mics. My hand goes numb. I don't know why. Maybe the angle I'm holding or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I was actually tweeting about this earlier, but my wrist was killing me. But yeah,
it's funny because I know that, like, you know how to keep your hands and posture correct when you're playing games and stuff. It's like kind of a freak thing that's happening.
Not my back posture usually. My back, I look like a cashew sitting at a computer. But like, but yeah, I mean, most of the time, I think my chair's at the right height. Yeah, it's really weird, freaky.
Well, really quick, I want to say something, and I normally do this when we have situations like this, and I know some people like feel differently about this kind of like a speech I'm about to give, but when you have a player like this, the first time I ever said this was when TSL Guinea Pig retired. It was his last game, and he like tried to do a 6-gate, and Marine King just went Cloak Banshees and countered him. This is like in a moment where this could be like the last game of this player's career. And it's like it's really scary because when you go into the situation, this is the time of year where Pro League is coming to an end. Nobody knows where StarCraft 2 is going to be next year. Like, Samsung might get a new sponsor. The team might totally reform. You know, they might be like, okay, so Hurricane, you didn't make the cut for next season's roster.
Yeah, like, it's very true. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You know, it's
and sometimes that pressure can almost be like negative stress if you don't know how to handle it correctly, and it gets to be this like super duper scary thing in the booth where you're like, okay, this could be it. This could be it.
Yeah,
I've spent so many years doing this.
You know, we have these like regular names out here in the GSL that I'm sure you guys are just used to seeing, but occasionally we get these guys that pop up in Codes, right? They kind of like just get their head above water, but then they go right back down.
Yeah.
Like
or you'll have Blaze is a player like that. You know, there's a lot of players like this.
Yeah. So in case you're wondering why he makes a structure here, he just wants to have as much stuff here as possible to delay the third hatchery.
I actually want to go on this note because there's like the pop-up players, like Younghwa was one of these. There's so many players like that just like made the round of 32 every time, but that's as far as they could go.
Or maybe they get in the round of 16 and we're all kind of excited for them. And then you get somebody like Curious, who I swear to God is in like every single GSL Codes ever. Like he's just always there. He hasn't won yet, but you know he's good. He's around.
This is actually a lot of damage we're seeing again here just from a depth pressure. This one's going to get taken out, but very well done by Hurricane. Like, he looks a lot more prepared for this matchup than he did in the PvP.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have to worry about PvP from here on out.
That's true. But these players that you see, you know, you have to wonder like how their motivation keeps going. Like it's probably coaches that really keep them propped up. Like Frozen is here in the studio, the Samsung coach, you know, to talk to Hurricane to make sure he's ready and prepared for these matches. Stork is of course back at home because he's trying to get his players prepared like in a different sense. But Hurricane Series got to have his coach keeping him motivated, keeping him palm down between the games.
Just so you guys know, there's actually like a coaching staff. So I mean, we have seen cases, especially early on in StarCraft 2, where it's like one guy who's kind of mentoring the players and be like, all right, you know, are you eating right? Are you actually training properly? But yeah, coaching is, I think, pretty important. I think that's actually one of the bigger things that people don't truly appreciate about what you don't have in the non-Korean scene.
Yeah.
And I know that people be like, oh, well, you know, some teams, yeah, they have handlers, but that's a little bit different than somebody, you know, making sure you're actually training correctly.
Like Stork is like
eating correctly.
He has the mind of a champion, right? So he can actually go in the booth and talk to you. He can also at the house say like, I noticed you keep doing this build. Like, I think you're trying to make it work. It's not going to work. Like, try something else. You know, something like that.
Exactly. Or you're playing too much on this map, or like, you know, they'll sit behind you and be like, okay, I think you need to try this out. So that certainly is very helpful.
A lot of pressure done here, though, from even the Oracle. Like, Hurricane has gotten some real value in this game. And a huge Ling attack here. It looks like basically Departure is going to do a Ling Bane timing attack after this, basically an all-in. The Spore. Ooh, he gets away with that. That was well done.
That was pretty bold.
That's actually going to limit his larva because he's going for this huge Ling attack. Like, every larva counts so much. Like,
yeah, that's actually a really good point.
When you're pouring Lings out, like, the second the larva spawns, you're making them. Losing injects is really, really detrimental to a push like this. And these Oracles can actually fight the Lings decently well than what we were talking about in the previous set. I think Departure might just kind of be out of luck with this build he's chosen. He's losing Lings now to just on the rally.
Well, I think he's going to just commit to it anyways. This is not exactly something you can step back from. Now, he might be able to just get the Adepts. If he can actually bait the Adepts in here, like into this corner. No, okay. I think that was definitely a wise move by Hurricane to try to turn around. But you see the Lings going up there.
Oh, this is cool. I like this a lot. This is a huge commitment, but this could definitely pay off.
Yeah, he's going to have to at least get the third base, which I think he can do. Like, basically 100% unless I'm mistaken.
He just needs to make sure he doesn't waste Banelings. Like, he wants to threaten with the Banelings, but not actually have them explode unless they're going to get big value. And he just, I mean, this is not like where he's going to like right-click on the Nexus. This is just to help protect his Lings. Oh, this Stasis Ward is so smart too.
Oh, that's really cool. That's so cool. But
it's just gonna
it doesn't matter if he doesn't go there. Now, this is actually probably even more all-in-ish.
Yeah, he's got so many sentries here. He can't even kill the buildings.
Oh, good hit there on the pylon. That's actually huge. He has 2 unpowered gates now, and actually getting these Lings stasis like this is actually really nice.
Yeah.
Oh!
Okay, he gets surrounded here. There's the Banelings I'm talking about. You only attack when you get the money hits. He's got a lot of Lings rallied across the map here. The problem is he doesn't have any way to deal with these Oracles. They're getting so much value.
I think the Oracles are almost out of energy, though, right?
Yeah, nearly.
Nearly.
But they're still getting all this damage done.
Well, one's out.
But the second one seems to be out too now.
He's making a lot more Lings. Now, remember that pylon is not yet done, so you can't make out of the gateway.
I think he might be out of energy on his mothership core as well.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Let's see.
Just one more.
Okay, never mind.
But like the queen that we saw killed earlier means he has less Lings. Look at his money. He has 700 minerals, but he can't spend it all because he doesn't have enough larva.
Okay, it looks like he's going to stop from here. He's actually making drones again, and he's getting a layer.
He stopped this third base from mining, and he may kill it. It's possible here.
Yeah, you know, he's going to kill this for sure because Oracles just don't
Hurricane
quite have enough.
is warping Adepts into Lings. Like, he's killing them as they get warped in. He should not be throwing those units away for free.
Now, what I'm wondering is, does he try to do the Baneling bust again here, or does he just send the Lings all the way back home?
I think he's just going to make Hydras and get Bane speed with his lair, and he's going to do like a similar build to what he did last game.
I would just send all the Lings back, and you can use those for Banelings later on. Man, Hurricane having a tough time tonight, guys.
Yeah, I mean, he had like so much damage done. He had all the right tools to hold that off, but he made like a few mistakes in the fight. And Departure made a lot of good decisions. Also, the Stasis Ward that went off only hit like 9 Lings. It was helpful, but it could have been like, it could have stopped all the Banelings, for example. It's just kind of unlucky how that went off. Gonna keep trying to put pressure on here. And these Oracles have been so valuable. Look at that, 21 kills on this one.
Really good job keeping those Oracles alive. Oh,
good
he might
control
actually,
there.
Okay, good. Got boxed in. I mean,
that's 35 kills between the two of those Oracles, though. That's, I mean, they've got mad value.
Now, does Protoss try to take a third, or does Oh, yeah, okay, well, that answers it. I was wondering if maybe...
But he's going to have to cancel this one.
When the probe's pointed down like that, it's just like a little cupcake. You can't even see him. He can hide right under there.
Tasteless, I mean, I think he just gets Baneling speed, yeah? And he's just going to do the same sort of attack that we saw in the previous game, but this time he has a lead. Whereas in the previous set, like he was kind of on even footing. And he's going to explode here in a second with so many Hydras and Banes. I think that basically Hurricane needs to set up a different type of defense this time.
Yep, he's coming down now. And he's just going to be trying to kill these drones. I mean, this is something, I'm not sure how long this is really going to last, though. Especially with the Hydra check coming up here, right? Like, the Hydras, like, organically solve the Warp Prison problem as they're hatching out. Now, keep in mind, Zerg is ideally hoping to end this game by just killing the third base, but Protoss has decided that this is the time where he has to put some pressure on.
He doesn't want him to get the build up the count of Hydras and Banelings safely. He wants to attack with the tech advantage, and this is like the only time he's going to have that advantage. This is a great attack here from Hurricane. He's going to get some Overlords here as well. No more production here for Departure until he gets more Ovies out.
Okay, he's coming forward. Now he's making the banelings right here on top of this.
This is actually can't be fighting here.
Look at how frugal he's being with the force fields. He did not overdo it. He's like, nope, I need to wait until the banelings are out, and that's what I'm scared of.
Okay, +2 is going to finish 2 with this push.
He's going to get
Hydra
another
range.
Overlord.
Yeah.
So, like, right when the next Overlord hatches, it's already supply blocked again.
Okay, look, here's the force fields he needs, and there's not an overwhelming Hydra count this time. He's flanking with them.
Dude, is he going to pull this off?
Definitely possible.
He might actually do this.
It's looking more and more likely. Stasis Ward goes off here as well, trapping several of these units. I think this is too much. He's going to lose this base, and he has too much of an army.
Well, now he's off creep, too, which is totally awkward. The Hydras can't get a good surround
And
here.
they can't retreat.
Dude, look at this. Look at you, Hurricane. You're doing it.
He does it.
Wow.
Very good reaction.
How cool.
Just don't fight it. Don't try to hold a third.
And look at this.
Stop
He's still
it before it
supply
happens.
blocking him here.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to a game 3, our first one of the
Nicely.
night.
Yeah, thank God. Well, he still has some more Hydras coming in here, but I think with the Warpins, there's enough at this point in time that you can actually just make Stalkers and win.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could win without making any more Stalkers. In fact, this game is that over-tastes. We should see the type out.
GG. Nicely done. Hurricane still has a shot. Okay.
Wow, we have a series here now. Hurricane fights back against all odds there in that second game. He did a lot of damage early on, but he lost his third base twice. Once and then basically prevented the remake. But he knew exactly that he had this tech advantage before the Hydras were really ready, that he could stop the Hydra count from getting too high. And he basically did the same thing in a way to Departure, what Departure did to him. He fought in an angle where the Hydras couldn't get value. And that's actually one of the cool things about StarCraft 2 is where you attack into certain maps, the attacker has this weird advantage because the base itself stops you from getting a concave on the defense. Like your Nexus or your hatchery is actually preventing you from getting the arc that you need. And then his force fields were good there. He used the hatchery there as well against him. And that one Stasis Ward goes off, he kills the Overlords. Production is halted. Really, nice timing attack there from Hurricane to try to stop Departure and building that Hydra count, building that Baneling count. And now we're going to this final game. One of these players is out of this tournament and done for the year after this Dust Towers map.
It's all going to come down to this one game. Remember, the winner has to go on and face off against a very worthy opponent, Dark. But if you're even going to have that chance to try to get out, you got to win here, and only one of these two can do it. This is game number 3, Departure versus Hurricane in Group G of tonight's GSL Code S. Why is this game not started? I'm trying to drag this out.
Here we go.
All right, there it is. All right.
Here we go, Tasteless. Let's do it.
In the bottom right, in the blue.
MVP Chicken Maru Departure.
Buck, 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 buck. It's a sound that chickens make, Wolf.
I know you're a big fan of that Chicken Hoff.
In the upper left, in the red.
Samsung Galaxy Hurricane.
Stressful moment here for both players.
Yeah.
And like when you lose here, it's not like you take your jersey off and you're done with the game until next year, but it's like this is where you're competing right now. This is the biggest tournament that's left, your last opportunity to go to the biggest tournament in the world at BlizzCon. And like the GSL is for both these players the last opportunity to make a stand here before we go into 2017.
Yeah.
And like playing in an online tournament and making like $100, $200 here or there, that's like great and all, and they can definitely still do that, but this is where it really counts. This is where the big money is. This is where the WCS points are. And this is the hardest tournament in the world. They've made it this far, and they want to just go that extra step. Winning this game does not even guarantee them getting out of the group. They will then have to beat SSL champion Dark, who is another class of Zerg here. So it's a long and difficult road and a mountain to climb here for both these players, but this is the first step.
It's also even problematic for Hurricane because he will have to face off against another Zerg who's actually, I would just say, better than Departure. So, I mean, the fact that the Dark is sitting in the makeup room watching this right now and taking mental notes, maybe even taking physical notes, that's going to make it very difficult, for Hurricane, because Hurricane is going to have to use whatever the best strategies and builds are to win here, but then he's going to do it all over again against somebody even better. So, I mean, this is a really tough thing. If Hurricane gets out of this, I mean, it's a real testament to how great of a player he is. But so far, this game we just did, a few minutes ago, that was the first time he's won tonight.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And see if we can take this momentum gained from that win going forward into this third game. Now, this map was very different from the first two because it has the longest rush distance, I think, in the entire pool. The GSL maps always get banned out, and when I think of them, I think they actually have shorter rush distances. I mean, this is like a long distance by ground between the bases. So attacks like we saw from Departure in basically both games, the first game and then what he planned to do in the second game, are less effective on this map.
Well, this map's also special because, by the way, I think you should always have some kind of map like this in the map pool. This is a map that can be cut in half, which can force it into like a crazy late game because there's only one, road that you can use to get to the left side of the map, to the right side of the map, and that's in the very center. And that's, something that you can definitely just cut off. And okay, that's interesting.
He puts his tournament life for the year on a Dark Templar drop.
But you know what?
Crazy.
Here's the thing, though. He probably won't use this build against Dark. And the thing is, it doesn't matter what he does here if he doesn't beat Dark.
That's true.
Right? I mean, you're still out. So using the Dark Shrine build may actually prevent Dark from farming too much information while watching these games.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah,
and by the way, guys, in case you're wondering, because I'm you guys tweet at me a lot of questions, and I usually try to answer them via the cast instead of tweeting back. But somebody might, I have had questions to say like, well, how is that fair if they can watch the games? You know what I'm saying? While they're being played. But that's the whole.
That's the dynamic of a group.
That's the function of the group, right? Is that they have multiple matchups with different players.
This is the most important moment in this game, by the way.
And that they can not only get a chance to watch, the previous games, that they get to watch and see their current condition and play style on that given day. So
he sees it.
Yeah. Okay. Now that sucks.
This is like.
Now sometimes people will let the Dark Shrine finish and just not go DTs, but I mean, you're not having a good time doing that. So let's see what he does. But I mean, Dark Templars, the inherent weakness of the DT rush is that if it's spotted and they know about it, then I mean, usually you just counter it. You just be like, okay, I guess I just will make sure he doesn't surprise me here.
It's like if you're going, I mean, this is almost oversimplifying it, but if you're playing rock, paper, scissors, and you had to like make the thing behind your back first, and then show it, and like someone had X-ray vision could see that you had already scissors behind your back. It's like, well, how are you going to win then?
If Superman's playing.
So like, he's going to try to, I guess the plan here, and this sometimes works anyways. I'm actually beating ST. In a famous GSTL final match, you can target down the Spore with these really quickly and then try to get like a hatchery and then do a follow-up. It's very difficult to pull off, but like the things are already going to protect
this. The zoning is good. The zoning is just too good. He gets a good surround over here. Now DTs actually can still fight Zerglades. I mean, they're going to one-hit Lings, but problem is that DTs, like even though they do a lot of damage, you usually don't want them just in a fight.
They're fragile.
Yeah, they die super fast, so you kind of want them in there so that, like, if they don't have detection, they're automatically taking too much damage.
This is cool. I mean, this is the most value you could really hope to get here until an Overseer comes out. It's just about to pop. But he knows this isn't really that risky because the pickup range is so big in Legacy. Can actually pick off a few units here and then just get out in a second. He's going to catch transferring drones, too. Boom, gets a drone, picks up. So he's finding some damage here. This is really the best he could have hoped for. Now, make no mistake, Hurricane is not ahead in the game, and this is not worth the investment, but it really is all he could have hoped for, considering that Departure already scouted and prepared for this. And it looks like we're going to see a transition into Disruptor tech.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something. Yeah, that's too bad the DTs didn't do that well, but, I think that he should have taken a note from Hero. It was Hero, right, that hit the DT tech?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's really going to come down to this, look, Zergs are able to scout you nowadays, guys. And especially in the bottom right side of the map. I mean, there's so many rich areas that you can just hide stuff on a map that's this big. Now, he's turned these into Archons. I was actually kind of wondering what would happen if he did that right at the beginning of the rush, because there were only Lings for a little bit there. He could have at least gotten some drones.
I think that's part of why Departure committed so heavily to the Roaches, but he's even struggling with this small Roach count right now to defend this. Okay, good pickups.
That's why you don't really see Archons used as harass. I mean, even Immortals are better than that because they have some range on them.
He has killed, actually, if you look at the counts, I mean, with the defense of the third base, which is so hard to attack on this map in any matchup. The defense of the third base, this harass, he's killed a lot of units. He's only lost that one Adept where you went, earlier. Like, that's the only Protoss unit that's died in this game. Tries to get this Queen here.
Yeah, doesn't quite get that either.
Yeah, just very close. But I like that he's trying to do this. We normally see this with failed DTs, and to be totally honest, for those of you guys who watch Hurricane, I know there's like someone out there like, oh my god, every time Hurricane fails with DTs versus Hurricane does this, because he does. Valdez and I talk about this all the time. Hurricane does builds like this often, and when it fails, he always goes for Archon drops. They usually do minimal damage, but he's so good at the Archon drops because he's like the only person who does this.
Well, and that's the other funny thing, right, is that if you don't have a lot of practice against this, it's still really tricky to hold off. The problem is that this big counterattack is going to be huge, right?
And he doesn't know about it yet. Okay, he just finds out. He's got a disruptor, though.
Oh, not bad.
You know
not
what?
Bad.
He's actually starting to really get some damage done over here as well.
Maybe he's going to pull this up. More zealots come in.
If he killed the Warp Prism, this would just stop. But you know what? This is actually just an insane amount of damage. The Archons are really starting to splash.
He's actually just starting to melt these queens.
Okay, the Warp Prism is still alive.
Archons are not being targeted here. And yeah.
Okay, it looks like he's finally going to stop this. He can pick these Archons up. He should save them.
There he goes.
Well done. Very well done. Holds off the push, takes a 4th base.
Ooh, I like this. This is really smart.
Yeah. I'm like, I was skeptical of the situation before, but he's really turned this around. He's actually, if you look at the worker counts, up 7 Harvesters. He has +2 on the way, charge. And we can build a composition around these disruptors. The Mutalisk tech that's coming out is not that threatening because we already have a healthy Blink Stalker count. This is something that can do some harassment and do a little bit of surprising because obviously there's not cannons in play. The mothership is not, necessarily in position when that hits. This Archon, by the way, even though it looks like it has a full health bar, it only has 10 hit points, so you need to be careful about keeping that alive. I mean, like one more Roach attack would have killed it. So, but yeah, I mean, the Mutalisk tech here it feels kind of desperate. We'll see if this works out. He's also going to scout it here with these 2 Archons. The Archon's going to be useful against Mutas too, but too bad they're both going to get picked off here.
Okay, and he does not get anything out. Good job there. But Protoss rather, might have a very good push coming up here. For some reason, I think he accidentally hit the Guardian Shield button.
Yeah, probably trying to warp more gateways into warp gates.
Yeah, I think you're actually right about that.
This is the worst place to attack always versus AoE.
Yeah, you beat me to it. That's exactly what I was about to say, is that this is like not... I mean, that's what they want you to do over there. So he drives out the Mutas.
Still some damage being done here. He needs to find a way to defend his 4th. They might be able to stabilize here. Ooh, he's not going to hold on to this 4th base. He's just going to let it go. He's remade another base at the top left. That's kind of his answer to this. But he didn't even pull drones out. 11 Harvesters go down here. And this Mutalisk Harass is going to get less and less effective as Hurricane warps more and more Stalkers in at home. Keeps his Mothership Core always in position.
Well,
the Mutas might just barely be in range, or out of range.
Dude, Hurricane could actually just do this. I mean, these disruptors, the Zerg units are going to clump up so much, and if he just keeps getting good exchanges on this, not the best force fields, unfortunately.
Hurricane won this game.
Oh my God! Look at these connections.
Now he's just got the proper tech here. He's going to blink forward. He won this game off of Archon drop harass with that Warp Prism.
Yeah.
Like, he won this game from a DT drop that I didn't have faith that he could transition from. Well, he did it.
Could Hurricane be the comeback kid, man?
I mean, I think this is already over. I think he's done it.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, the fact that the oh my God.
Oh,
you could really,
GG.
Damn.
Damn,
wow.
indeed. I mean, he was so on the ropes here in this series. Now he's got a shot. He made it into this tournament off of wild card. He barely squeaks by after a failed DT drop into Archons, which again only he does, and he does so well. He wins that, and now he keeps the hope alive against Dark. And he could do, again, a huge upset, something unthinkable. And for Departure, that is it here for Star Leagues and 2016. And also Pro League for him as well.
Departure, no pun intended, is now out of Code S, which brings us onto our final match. But this is going to be a very big challenge here to take out a player like Dark.
Dark is on a higher caliber than Departure.
I do think that that Hurricane picked the right build. I don't think he's going to go DTs again, even though, as you were saying, the Archon Harass was kind of what won the game for him. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, our final match to see who survives to the round of 16 in tonight's GSL Code S.
그대로 맑고 깨끗하게 피어나라고 겨울을 이겨낸 봄꽃이 내게 말했다. 맑고 깨끗한 칠성 사이다.
짬뽕이네.
와, 맛있는 거.
근데 어디서 시킨 거예요? 그거 시킨 거 아닌데. 오뚜기 볶음 진짬뽕인데. 호뚜기 볶음 진짬뽕. 볶음 뜬 짬뽕. 볶음 뜬 짬뽕.
와, 정말로 화끈하네.
볶음 진짬뽕 외에는 절대 현혹되지 마소.
질서와 수호를 위해서라면
마귀의 화염이.
누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지.
나는 KT 기가 인터넷. 당신과 방송국을 만들죠. 어디서나 우린 함께해요. 어때요? 나랑 콜라보 하실래요? 당신의 KT.
KT와 아프리카TV가 함께하는 기가 콜라보 페스티벌. 강렬한 태양 아래 해운대 백사장에서 펼쳐지는 국내 최대 기가급 페스티벌. 기가 인터넷을 속도로 즐기는 e스포츠의 축제. 아프리카TV 인기 BJ가 총출동하는 KT 기가 레전드 매치, 오버워치 BJ 리그 올스타 매치. e스포츠의 성지 부산에서 펼쳐지는 KT 기가 레전드 매치. 폭풍저그 홍진호, 최종 경기 테란 이영호, 몽상가 프로토스 강민, 혁명가 프로토스 김태경. 다시 만나는 전설 속의 스타크래프트 영웅들. KT 기가 레전드 매치. 아프리카TV 인기 BJ들의 축하 공연까지 즐길 수 있는 올여름 최고의 기가급 페스티벌. KT와 아프리카TV가 함께하는 기가 콜라보 페스티벌에 여러분을 초대합니다.
2016 리우 올림픽을 기념한 라틴의 맛 탄생. 할라피뇨와 화끈한 치폴레 살사 소스까지. 올림픽 공식 버거 맥도날드 리우 195 버거. 다양한 라틴의 맛도 만나보세요.
메이플 스토리 2 신규 직업 스트라이커.
이거 좋은데?
답답할 때 마셔봐요 트로피카나. 상큼상큼 과일 듬뿍 스파클링.
리얼 프루트를 스파클링으로.
과즙이 톡톡 쏜다. 트로피카나 스파클링.
우리 올리브영에서 드디어 루이조를 변화시키기 위해 우리 아프리카와 함께 루이조 변화시키기 대장정이 들어갔어요. 이게 스타일 옴브 제품입니다. 피부 밝아지는 것 같은데? 와, 이름이 올리브영 클라스구나. 러머띠. 와우! 영국 스타일. 근데 멋있네. 나가면 번호 따일 것 같은데? 여기서 마무리할게요. 우리 제품은 올리브영 제품이었습니다.
스타일? 상쾌하면 되는 거야. 상쾌함의 높이가 다르다. Stylish Sparkling Water 롯데 트래비.
네, 아프리카TV와 함께하는 킹덤 스토리 연애의 신.
이거 사극을 찍는 것 같아요.
정말 안 어울립니다. 약간 왜소하고.
맞아. 위초고 3국 대결.
장비! 나이스!
나 심쿵했어.
17,800원. 와, 군주는 무릎을 꿇을 수 있어요.
아, 뭐야, 이거 어떻게
열심히.
본 건데? 저에게는 간호 장비 같은 존재입니다.
진짜 유익한 게임이니까 여러분들 진짜로 많이 해보셨으면 좋겠습니다.
기가 IoT 헬스. 올레 TV 켜고 퍼팅하고 바이크 타고 체지방 체크까지 실감나게 재밌다. 기가 IoT 헬스. 김지원의 KT.
오호, 물로 지금 거의 뭐 수분을 그냥 갖다 들이붓는 것 같아요. 자, 바른 쪽과 안 바른 쪽입니다. 차에 보여드릴게요. 내가 발라봤는데 개편해. 앞으로 그냥 나도 찍어 발라야 될 것 같아요. 잘 봐요. 자, 이렇게 깔끔하게 아래쪽만 다듬어도 선이 딱 살아있잖아요. 선 라인 자체가. 잠깐만. 이런 느낌이구나. 허허. 오늘 여러 가지 제품들 올리브영에서 제가 지금 제품을 받아서 사용을 해봤는데 굉장히 좋은 것 같아요. 올리브영 제품이 짱인 것 같습니다. 고맙습니다.
올리브영 플러스 유소나 예뻐져라 뷰티 방송. 홈쇼핑 아닙니다. 첫 뷰티 방송 시작하겠습니다. 달콤한 꽃에 겹겹이 둘러싸인 듯 아 여러분, 이 모든 제품들은 올리브영에서 살 수 있습니다. 새로 한 네일 아트로 사랑을 표현할게요. 감사합니다. 고맙습니다. 세상에.
미소가 생기다. 화사함이 생기다. 건강한 하루가 생기다. pH 8.0과 풍부한 미네랄로 핑크빛 생기가 생기다. 아이시스 8.0. 이제 모두 핑크하세요.
(2016) Hot 6 GSL Season 2 Code S.
And we're back here at the GSL Code S. 2 players remain. Only one's going to move on. This is going to be Hurricane versus Dark in a best of 3. Where everything they know about this matchup has to play out right here, right now.
That's right. And the funny thing is sometimes when they have the final match, it's a rematch. It's not going to be the case. They're going to meet each other for the first time and the last time here in this tournament.
That's right.
Only 1 best of 3 left to go in this very relatively quick night. Almost a speed run night of GSL, as you said earlier. Hurricane has gotten some momentum back, but he's up against a much tougher Zerg here than what Departure showed. And I talked about how he won that game basically off the Archon play, but I think Departure also kind of botched the defense a little bit. And like the Archons got him back into the game. And he also did a decent amount of damage with his DTs. We're actually going into a GSL. Oh, no, we're not. Someone gave me the wrong maps in the chat earlier. So never mind. We're not going to a GSL map. We're going to standard maps. So that we're going to see Judgment, which kind of freaked me out a little bit. But Frozen Temple, Gettysburg, and Dust Tower. I've seen this before tonight. So
let's see what happens now, man. I think Hurricane made a good choice by using that DT rush in the last game. You can't really use... Nobody's going to use like DTs in every single game of of a series, but you can throw it out, and I thought that was a wise decision there by Hurricane. So let's see what he does now this time around. He could go like super meta and actually just go for DTs anyways, because Dark would probably not expect that to happen. We'll see. Anyways, game 1 on the map, Frozen Temple. Tell your friends to join us here for our final best of 3 in Group G for tonight's GSL Code S, guys.
That's right. Here we go. Frozen Temple for set number 1. Hurricane versus Dark. Let's jump into it. Here we go. Tell your friends. See you guys in the game.
In the game. Beyond the game. Beyond the game. In the bottom right.
Samsung Galaxy Hurricane.
And here in the upper left, in the red,
SK Telecom T1 Dark.
Whoa. I don't know if that picked up on our audio. Do we mic the audience here?
I don't think so, actually.
Okay, we had a huge cheer in the audience for one of our players.
He came all the way from Ulsan, which is pretty far away, very close to Busan, to watch the matches today. He came all the way up, it says. So a long journey, a long trip.
So we got a fast pool and a fast gas, and then the Zerg's going to make the hatchery behind that.
I think Dark is just like, I've had enough. Like literally every Pross is hatch blocking me every game. I'm just going to go pool first at this point and cut out the middleman here.
I think that's a good adjustment. This kind of it's not always what Zergs want to do, but in this case, he's probably like, look, if I can just get into a normal game, I should be fine. But a lot of these good players like Hero are preventing me from actually doing that.
Yeah. He's got gas as well, so he's paired that for super fast link speed. He's going to really control the map, and Hurricane will be hard pressed to kind of move out, and putting a depth pressure on, like we've seen a lot today, is going to be very difficult. And I think there's also an adjustment versus what Hurricane's shown in both games that he played against Departure. Even in that third game a little bit, it was a little bit tougher, but really in games 1 and 2, he was really committing so much to that early Adept pressure, which will now be harder to commit to. Now, this is the first time they play against each other in this group, but as you can see, there's a bit of a history between these two. They've played each other 8 times, and Dark is 6-2. So, clearly the favorite in every way if you guys weren't already favoring him before. Zerg fans hoping he's going to come out as the second Zerg in the round of 16.
Okay. Let's see if he goes for the Stargate tech here. I mean, getting the Adepts here, this is all par for the course, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, okay, there it is. There's a Stargate.
He's not going to hide it even, and Dark should see this. Counterwise Hurricane sees the third base. He wants to deny this, actually. He wants to deny the Scout, and he will with that Adept, I believe. So the speed isn't
he needs
done.
to get the Adept in front of it. Okay, like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, that should be gunned down.
Denied.
Nicely done. Really good job.
Especially because Dark now knows that he has already used DTs once, and, you know, like you said, it's very unlikely he would do it again, but now that question always has to be on Dark's mind right now. Like, what is he doing? He specifically hid that.
Now
this is why this Overlord comes to Chag.
Yeah, the Overlord's going to see this. But even getting there, you know, a few seconds delay can allow Zerg to have less time to try to react. Now, notice he keeps that pretty far out, so it's not clear necessarily there for Hurricane
that he's been spotted,
knows, yeah. Because, you know, this is the thing about StarCraft, and I've been saying this a lot, but it is true. You know, this is not just a game about mechanics and builds and strategy. It's also a game about of deception. You know, a good StarCraft player is also a good liar because I mean, this is why you have a fog of war, right? If you look, I know a lot of you guys are younger, so you probably didn't play back when RTS games were super trendy, but, you know, there were lots of RTSs where there wasn't a fog of war like Command & Conquer, and I mean, it was really baffling for me as a StarCraft player because I would just think, well, isn't this like almost the entire game, right, is not seeing their army? Like, it used to be you could scout out on a map, and as long as anything had been there even once, then you just see everything.
Yeah.
But in this case, what's great about, you know, this is that then these guys can actually continue to mask information and disguise stuff and try to surprise each other. And that's what makes actually StarCraft, as far as a game in general, different than almost any other game historically. I mean, even like a game like chess, which is incredibly complicated, or Go, or in Korean known as Paduk, it's the fact that, you know, on the game like that, you do see everything. In StarCraft, you don't. And because of that, you can hide stuff. You can show certain things that can be misleading. If they scout you and they go away, you might cancel that. You might not use that tech.
Sure. There's a lot of facets to the S in RTS, man. And this is, I mean, we're seeing it here. Now, this build here with the Oracle and Adepts, again, it's a strong build, but a little bit tougher to pull off with how much information Dark has been able to gain already. He obtained so much. Now, we're seeing Hurricane add this Void Ray again. We saw it in the series previously.
Oh, nice. He's going to get the Queen here.
Nice commitment. He's actually controlling his Oracles very well in these games.
Yeah, that was really slick.
He's doing riskier stuff than most would do, and he's actually getting value out of it.
So, as you guys are watching this, remember, you know, Hurricane had a really bad first best of 3. Then he lost the second game 1 in the second best of 3, and then began the comeback. I mean, if Hurricane wins here, this is an incredible story about redemption.
Yeah. And his Oracles nearly saw that drone there. Imagine if he'd been able to stop that fourth. That would have been huge. Dark is adding double Evo chambers now, going into double upgrades, it looks like, for a longer game. And will not be going for the Baneling Hydra style that we saw previously. And the Void Ray is kind of out there to help deter this. That's why it's going down to the south. He's looking for drop overlords that are coming right now. That's exactly what this Void Ray is doing. He's like, all right, are you going for Baneling drops? Do I need to worry about that at my third? Not the case. Looks like it's going to be lurker-oriented play style here for Dark.
Okay. Not the greatest tag of all time, but I mean, he might as well just get those roaches there so he can see something that's going on.
Yeah, maybe he was considering using energy to kill the tumors, and maybe he was trying to do that, but he decided not to in the end. He's even going to clear this Overlord.
Yeah, not bad. Okay, comes in here now. He's going to get this Queen. Queen cannot get away or be transfused, and it does go down.
I think Hurricane is just like hyper aggressive with these Oracles, more than Dark is expecting, but finally he will get punished for it. Not the first time this has happened where like he gets a Queen and then we think he's going to get out, and then one Queen's like, haha, gets that last shot off. Blink +1. We could just be seeing a +2 Blink attack here from Hurricane. We are going to see eventually that Baneling Hydra style. He sneaked the Baneling Nest in when I wasn't looking. I did not even see he made that. And it is going to be that style again, so apologies for saying it was going to be lurkers earlier. That explains further now the 1-1 upgrades he's getting for melee. And the rest is on this map, not as quite as big as Dust Towers, but is pretty far. And we'll see if...
Well, speaking of that, I think we're actually going to see that rush happen. I mean, he's getting that Warp Prism right now. And +1 is done here. So this could time out pretty well. However, you can see like there's a bunch of Zerg upgrades that are about to finish. So, I mean, it's definitely something Dark might be able to handle here. Dark is taking that 4th. I don't believe this is a map that you can easily rush and take an expansion, but I think if he does expand, he'll take the center right.
Yeah. He just wants to have these 4 bases for the push for now. And Hurricane is getting the Disruptor tech this time. This is something that he didn't really have versus the Hydra and Baneling attack earlier. And as we pointed out earlier in one of those games as well, Disruptor Purification Novas go through force fields. So you can force field the Banelings off and then kill the Hydras through the force fields with your Purification Novas. And wow, he's actually getting Lurker Den after this. He's adjusting the build. He's not going to just crash in with his Hydras and Banelings. He's going to perhaps take that center left base, as you mentioned, and try to control the map with Lurkers in that zoning. He's going into Hive Tech as well.
Okay, Banelings are going to come up here.
One cannon.
Let's see if he's ready. Let's see if he's actually paying attention.
He just made a cannon here, too. He should be looking.
And he doesn't see it. Oh, my God.
He just made those 2 cannons and looked elsewhere. That's how fast things can happen in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, and wow, Hurricane's jaw just dropped. There, it's still closed the gates there. Huge blow.
Oh, losing the Oracle as well.
I mean, that's super frustrating, but it's a good tactic, right? I mean, if they're not actually watching, then you just lose your workers. I mean, that's it.
Oh, no, he's going to lose his Prism as well if he's not careful.
Oh, my God, I think
it's trapped. He can't get it out.
It's trapped.
Look at this. Colossi with range coming out. This is a pretty rare sight in this matchup. We don't really see this anymore, but it does well against both Hydras and Banelings. And even blowing up Banelings on Colossi, if you can get them on top, isn't very effective because they're armored units. This will get taken out. No way to stop it.
Well, that's problematic. He's going to have to make another Warp Prism if he wants to push. You really can't. In 2016, you really can't push as Protoss without a Warp Prism.
Yeah, and you can't really have a presence on one side of the map without a Warp Prism on the other. You can have to force the Zerg to be in 2 locations at once. And that will take away from his Colossus production time.
Exactly. That's what's so scary about this. So Dark actually expands again here. Dark is going to completely control the upper left side of the map, both corners.
And it's not like he's just doing this off of this low-tier tech. He has Lurkers, but he has a high finishing, so he can actually do a lot here. There's several different things he can do next. Brewlords are not even off the cards in this matchup right now, especially if he can get good trades and keep the Stalker count low with these Lurkers. And it's about like sieging, positioning. He's going to go for the Ultra Tech instead, which works out also versus the Colossi. Colossi kind of just like paint the Ultra, but don't actually kill it. And this move out here is controlling so much space on the map. Lurker's in decent position here as well. He's trying to look for observers. If he can kill the observers, there's no way to spot this.
Oh my God, this is so good. Okay, thank God for that wall in up there.
I don't know if he has an observer. He's making one right now.
No, he has to, right? Maybe he doesn't.
Dark doesn't know, so he's going to back off anyways, regardless of whether he has one or not. And it looks like we're going to see a double Ling drop here into the main base.
Wow,
and he's going to have Adrenal Gland soon.
Now, this is not a mobile Protoss army. He actually just burnt out one of his blanks. So there's going to be a hit in 2 different locations. Now, is Dark too top-heavy in this attack? Does he actually have enough to defend this back at home?
That's the question. He has an Ultralisk Cavern and 3 Vipers about to pop out, but he doesn't have any Ultras yet. He has a ton of Lurkers.
Okay, there is one observer here.
Yeah.
That was
and he's
the big
making
question.
a second. Oh, it died? Or no? Okay,
no, it's still there. It's okay.
Okay, there's something else that died. If he could snipe that, there's just no way that Hurricane can win the game off this push. He pulls it back here. Keep an eye on that observer. Super important. The second one is going to take a while to come across the map. These Colossi are taking damage from a Spore. Needs to be really careful about that.
Yeah. He's going to try to just go for it. He's going to try to jump on top of this. There's a lot over here, but spreading the Colossi hits. Oh!
Ducks coming in, Banelings from behind. This is going to be game over here.
This is completely melted. GG. Nicely done. Wow.
Hurricane was forced to kind of all in there. Like you said, he had an immobile army. He burned the blink. And once that happened, how could he turn around? There was just no way. He reached that tipping point where you're like, I have to go. I have to try to win off of this push. Dark had his Lurker spread and split. And, I mean, there's just... Like, that game was, like, nice, and we saw Colossi attempted to be used there, but realistically, the outcome was pretty basic.
Dude, Dark is, like, on another level from Departure. I mean, you really saw it there. Dark is just, like, bigger, faster, stronger back there. Let's see if Hurricane can turn it around, but like Dark, I mean, man.
He wouldn't even let Hurricane get a 4th base. He was on 5 bases.
Yeah.
Hurricane couldn't even take a 4th. So he decided to go for lost side.
3 different locations in the main, and then completely overran the army. It wasn't even like close. I mean, there was so much of the Zerg army left over. It was crazy. All right, guys. Let's see if this is our final game or if Hurricane can at least begin to engineer.